The opposite of good isn't always bad. Sometimes the opposite of good is nothing.
It's time now for Off the Wall with award-winning journalist and Christian author Doug Wahl. Listen to what your life reveals about the Bible through essays and commentaries on the world we live in, the people we are, and the God we serve. Now from Wilmington, North Carolina, here's Doug Wahl.
During Bible study last week, Robin asked a very thought-provoking question. It wasn't that she was really looking for an answer as much as she was making an interesting observation, and she just happened to phrase it in the form of a question. We were reading the second chapter of James. That's where we're told, so faith by itself, if it does not have good deeds, is dead. But someone will say, you have faith and I have good deeds. Show me your faith apart from your good deeds, and I will show you my faith by my good deeds. James chapter 2. Now, some translations use the word work instead of good deeds, but the one we were using that night talked about good deeds specifically, which got Robin thinking. She wanted to know why it is that you never hear of bad deeds. And she questioned whether all deeds are good. Now, we kind of laughed because none of us knew the answer, and then the conversation moved on. We were soon talking about a time in our life when we had been on the receiving end of a good deed. Robin once again spoke up. She talked about something I could easily relate to. She recently went through surgery and was touched by all of her friends who helped out, the food, the cards, the phone calls, and even with walking the dogs. But she also noticed that there were a number of people, really good friends, that she thought she was close to who never bothered to reach out, who never acted like they cared. Now let's see if you can connect the dots. Did you notice how Robin's personal story there actually provided an answer to her earlier question? Even though the word good describes a type of deed, the opposite of good deed is not a bad deed. A bad deed is evil. It's doing evil. That's why we never use the phrase bad deed. Therefore, because deed describes an action, the true opposite of a good deed is inaction. In this passage, the Bible is not warning about doing something bad. Instead, it's warning about doing nothing. Nothing at all. So, did you stay home and find an excuse instead of going to that funeral? Did you think it would be nice to send the card, but, you never got around to it? Did you tell your friend that you would pray for him instead of actually helping him out with money? Did you do anything to let them know that you cared? And if you did not, do you really care at all? Faith without good deeds or faith without action is dead and pointless. Now tell me, what kind of faith do you have? I'm Doug Wahl in Wilmington, North Carolina. God bless.
You've been listening to Off the Wall on Desert Radio AZ.